Hi guys, and welcome back to Rich Girl Energy Podcast. I'm your host Priyanka, and this is episode 6 of my podcast. Today's episode is called Staying Consistent with Your Standards. This episode has been broken down into 5 different chapters, obviously according to whichever chapter you want to watch and listen to. Feel free to skip to that one. I'm going to be starting off with chapter 1, which is called Why Consistency is the Real Glow Up. Raising your standards and your boundaries is powerful. Actually sticking to them and staying consistent is what actually changes your life. Anyone can sit there and think that they deserve more or they want more for themselves. But consistency is what separates intention from transformation. Consistency is actually what makes a difference. Consistency is what turns self-respect into an actual identity. Because let's be real, the hardest bit about growing and becoming the best version of yourself isn't that you know that you deserve better. It's actually sticking to the new routine and the new version of yourself. It's choosing yourself on the days you feel lonely, you don't feel motivated, the days that you doubt your decision, and on the days that your old habits feel tempting. This is where most people slip back because consistency requires emotional maturity. Staying consistent means you stop making decisions based on how you feel in that current moment. You make them based on who you're actually becoming. That shift is quiet but can actually change your life. Now I'm going to be moving on to chapter 2, which is called Why People Break Their Own Standards. A lot of people break their standards and boundaries due to them not knowing their worth. They don't value themselves. They break them because they crave comfort. They crave the past. They crave what they already know. Comfort in familiarity, comfort in attention, comfort in being chosen, even if it costs their peace. Old patterns don't just disappear because you decided to work on yourself and grow. They resurface, or you start to think of these moments in the past because you're stressed or you're overwhelmed. That is when consistency is actually tested. Not when you're happy, but when you're actually sad. You'll feel the need to message someone that you shouldn't be messaging. You'll feel the need to respond to someone when you shouldn't be responding. To give someone another chance even though you know how it's going to end. Breaking your standards or boundaries doesn't mean that you failed. It means that you're human. The woman that you're becoming learns to pause instead of react. She will recognize the emotional urges without acting on them. It's like when you have a thought in your head but you know that you shouldn't do that, so you don't. She knows that growth isn't always easy. Sometimes it's quiet, it's uncomfortable, it's lonely, but that's how you get past it. But she stays consistent anyway. Now I'm going to be moving on to chapter 3, which is called Consistency in Relationships and Boundaries. This is actually where consistency matters the most. It's easy to set a boundary, but when someone pushes against it, it can be harder. Consistency means that you're not going to engage with someone just because they reached out. Not softening your boundaries to avoid discomfort. Not negotiating your needs just to keep peace. A woman that stays consistent doesn't need to argue her boundaries. She lives them. She doesn't need other people to tell her what to do and what not to do. She understands the fact that people tolerate you based on how you treat yourself and how you allow people to treat you. She doesn't have to over-explain, and she doesn't have to lower her boundary in order to be understood. She allows other people to feel disappointed. She allows distance to exist. And finally, she allows silence to do its work. Now I'm going to be moving on to chapter 4, which is called Consistency with Yourself. This one is also very, very important because the way you see yourself is how other people see you. The way you treat yourself is how other people will treat you. Consistency isn't just external, it's internal. It's being able to keep promises to yourself even if no one's watching you. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. There are times where I will literally write down what I'm going to do and I will make sure I get it done. If I tell myself I'm going to be somewhere for a certain time, I will be there. Waking up for the time that you said you would wake up. Walking away when you said you would walk away. Resting when you need to without feeling guilty. This is where real confidence is built. Not from the validation of other people, not from motivation, but from self-trust. Being able to trust yourself first. Every time you're consistent with yourself and you do as you say, you're actually telling your nervous system that you are safe within yourself. And that safety is what changes how you move through life. You stop second guessing yourself, you stop looking for reassurance, and you stop seeking permission from everyone around you because you know that you trust your own decisions and you don't need other people to back your decisions. Consistency is what turns self-respect into peace. Now finally I'm going to be moving on to chapter 5, which is called Becoming the Woman Who Doesn't Go Back. There's going to be a time where consistency stops being forced, where your standards don't feel like effort anymore. That is who you have become. Over time this habit has formed and that is what is normal to you. You don't go back because you've outgrown it, and that can literally be a job, it can be friends, it can be be anything and anyone. Don't over explain because you don't need to. You don't chase because you're aligned. This is the woman that worked on herself to better herself. She doesn't need to announce her change to everyone and anyone because her energy is showing that. She simply lives her life differently, and she just lives her life the way she wants to, and the world will respond accordingly. Staying consistent means that over time you will work on your self-respect and who you are as a person, and self-respect practiced every single day becomes unshakable, and you will live your life the way you want to and on your own terms. Thank you guys for watching and listening to this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys in my next episode. Mwah!